Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Carlson number LS703RH white black oxide spring-loaded lift mechanism, forgive me, back-mounted right-hand white. Let's dissect the part number. LS703. 703 stands for the fact that this is a lifting mechanism by Carlson that is back or rear mounted. Okay, it mounts to the underside of the lid and then the back of the, what I'll call foot locker. It can, call it whatever, I guess. Foot locker is the term that comes to mind for me. My dad was in the military, so foot locker is a term that I'm familiar with. Right hand. Now, this is a right hand. The orientation of the mounting points can be either in this orientation or flipped over. When you view the foot locker and you open the lid, the right hand lifting mechanism is on the right. So as you view this video, it appears to be on the right, and that's how that would, of course, work. There is a left hand version. I happen to have one here, as the client ordered two, and the left hand would be on the left side. We're talking about the right hand. So LS703 rear mounted, right hand, we've talked about that, white. There's nothing on here that's white except the coating on the spring. That tells us the capacity of the spring in terms of the workload it can do. The BO means black oxide. Okay. Now, let's look at the extended description information down below. This is a self-balancing lid closure. 703RH or LH, series back mounted, keeps heavy lids from slamming shut, holds lid open in any position, available in either statutory bronze, which is a dark bronze type color, Venetian bronze, if you're familiar with that finish. It wouldn't be unlike that finish. Slight hint of red tones, bronze tones, but dark. Not oil rubbed dark, but reddish dark. Very reddish dark. Most common, or black oxide. Black oxide is, we don't sell a lot of them in black oxide, but I expect as black in this year, 2019, it's the new polished brass. Black is very common and popular. I expect that we'll be selling more black in the near future than statutory bronze. Features a solid brass slide enclosure, cover brackets riveted to the cam with a high quality spring. Available in different tensions for different lid sizes. We'll get to that in a moment. Screws are not included. You're going to have to supply screws. The number 6 is what's used. It'd be nice if they supplied screws. They don't. This is right hand. This is right hand. This is white spring. Overall length is 6 inch. I'm not going to give a lot of dimensions because we're going to cover that in the technical sheet coming up in a moment. It's about 6 1/8 overall length. Okay. This is indeed made of steel. Everything's steel except that brass slide enclosure. That's going to be just not steel. This is for a 110 to 140 inch torque rating, which is defined as lid height in inches multiplied by the lid weight multiplied by 1/2. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Sold per each, priced per each. There's a calculator down below that you can use at the end of the video to calculate your spring color. As we continue to scroll down, you'll see a video from the manufacturer, some images that we may have taken or the manufacturer did. Some manufacturer supplied images are there as well of a completed, foot locker with a couple of these installed. I would have opted to center those lifting mechanisms in the center of the underside of the lid support of the lid itself. It doesn't really matter. You can position them pretty much anywhere. I would want to have them centered so that I didn't get a lot of twist out of my lid if I was lifting it, just that imperceptible amount. The design of that would require the rear mounted, possibly would have suffered the 702 model, which is the side mount. We'll get to that in a moment. But that's the picture they provide. There are 2 documents available to review. Mounting diagrams, well, that's an easy one to look at, so we'll knock that one off first. That's just going to show us the 702 side-mounted model. The same gizmo, except that they will take this and give us a custom plate so that you can mount it to the sidewall. This is all the same up here. The 703 Lefts and rights, rear mounted. The 900 surface mounts to the back of the lid, back of the footlocker, and then into the into the rear side of the lid. Very uncommon, and I don't recall the last time I sold one of those. If you're not sure which one to get, I would, just out of what's most common, I probably wouldn't order the 900. I don't know that I'd want my bracket hanging off the outside of my unit, although you might have some sort of conflict on the interior where you need to move the hardware to the outside. Hard to say. 702 is awfully common, the side-mounted one. That's pretty common. It's a toss-up, 702 or 703. You might want them stuck on the far outside end of your unit. Maybe you can't stick them to the far outside end for whatever reason. Now, the document where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, is the assembly of the 700 series. There is, on the bottom of page 1, the instructions. Super simple. Where you install it off the end, use your best judgment. I would like to have it somewhat balanced, somewhat centered. If you're going to put two, order one left hand and one right hand. They will do either job, and the only reason you'd order one of each really is just, I think, for symmetry, so that they literally looked symmetrical. Okay? You can put two right hands. It's going to work the same way. The instructions are simple. From the top of the rear vertical structure, locate that first hole at 1 1/16 inch. Mark the hole. Mark this hole. Pre-drill, install with your number 6 screws down to the back. Then, lift your lid to approximately 90 degrees. Locate this hole from the bottom of the lid at 3 inch. Mark it. Mark this hole. Secure that, pre-drill and secure them both. At that point, you're done. You're done. By the time you've gotten to that point, you've determined the spring rating, however. It seems contorted, but it's actually quite simple. I'm going to read it, and then we'll dissect it. To find inch pounds, multiply half the distance from the front to the back times the weight of the lid. Okay, sounds complicated. It's not. Take the depth of your lid, cut that in half. Multiply that by the weight of the lid. In this example, for a white spring, we could say that we have a 20-inch deep lid that weighs 12 pounds, or 11 pounds, or 13 or 14 pounds, or any combination within that range. 20 times 0.5 is 10. 10 times 12 pounds, let's say, 120. That fits in the range of the white, low and high limit. It will also work in the orange range, but I would probably opt to go with where it's right in the middle and not out at an end, because I do want that lid closure to be able to hold it in any position. Okay, that same formula and the calculator that's back on the product page will determine that spring color. I noticed that if I arrived at 120 inch pounds, it's not giving me the option of white or orange. It's just telling me white. That'd be where I would go. In terms of what we sell common, white is very uncommon. Orange, uncommon. The three heavier ones, not so common. Maroon, green, blue, even gray, even black. But that maroon, green, and blue, that blue one is going to be all the time. We sell that one often. Now, to get to page 2, all we're going to see there is a lot of dimensional properties. I won't beleaguer the point of any of this stuff showing you any of the dimensional properties, but that's what it's going to look like. It's important to see a cross-section of what this will look like when the lid is in the closed position. I can't make that happen. That spring's going to be far too strong. But you'll know exactly how much room it occupies on the inside of your space so that you can plan accordingly. Okay, really neat. If I was going to stuff Afghans, crocheted products, blankets, I would probably go to the outside with a 702. I don't want a lot of it to get stuck in there, stuffed in my footlocker, close the lid, and then have some of this hardware potentially making unintentional contact with a knitted good. I might even go with the 900 in that case if my design would suffer having it mounted on the exterior. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Carlson products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. They don't apparently have a large product line at all. I think just those 3 versions of spring mechanisms, or those lifting mechanisms. I would have to expect that they make more than just these items, but I don't know. I've called there a couple of times, and it's the kind of outfit that The phone generally rings a lot, and then when that person comes back from lunch, but the quality of their product is substantial. There is generally a lead time on this stuff because of the variety of options. You've got, what was it, 8 different springs, you've got 3 different models, you've got 2 different colors. It's not all stocked. So allow for it. But I can tell you that I've never, not once, had someone return this for a lack of quality. I'm as proud of that, USA, as is Carlson. And I would encourage you, if you have a lifting neck mechanism need, to review their product line. Any questions on the Carlson LS703 in an RH, in a black oxide with a white spring, or any other Carlson product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.